the NXT after War Games. I know I was like the NXT after Takeover, the Takeover after War Games. No, the NXT 2.0 after War Games. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein here with NYC Demon Diva Isa. It's just us tonight and end of an era as Johnny Gargano. I think I'm assuming.
Is it the end of an era? I'm confused.
Yeah, it was a little confusing because I mean, if they swerved us, you know what? Good on them. If he's going to stick around and feud with Grayson Waller, cool, I guess.
Is it?
Well, okay, Grayson Waller's. I know originally I was like, it's a love child of Paul Walker and Vanilla Ice. I had high hopes for him.
No.
But he's kind of disappointed me. So I don't know. Like, I think him just beating up Johnny Gargano and then I don't know. I don't know if I want to see this feud. I think it's brilliant if Johnny Gargano swerved us in this era of everybody leaving and Kyle O'Reilly having a swan song tonight and likely going to AEW. It looks like, yeah, like if Gargano, if he played us. But what I was thinking about, tell me what you think of this, is if he's leaving, it seems like the move is like with Kyle O'Reilly, like whatever he had the feud he lost, he thanked a bunch of people after. Like he had kind of an okay exit, right? But it seems like the move is to pull a Dean Ambrose or to pull the like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take some time off and get my head together and come up with like a plausible excuse. Like we're having a baby. I just see, and then like the next, like as soon as your contract's up, show up on AEW. That's like the power move, is to fool them into thinking you're not going to AEW. So they give you this amazing send off and then you go to AEW.
You know what? I like this. I love a good conspiracy theory, and I'm here for this one. Because you're right. Because Ambrose just said he was going to let his contract expire. He never said anything, and they did all this farewell tour for him and all that, and then he just shows up on AEW the week after. That is funny. I know when we get into the show, we'll talk about it. I still don't know. I'm still trying to process what just happened. And I should have known because they teased it. They teased it with Grayson earlier. Oh, I'll get views, and I kept thinking, are they gonna pay that off next week? Because as the show went on, I don't see him trying to get that payback. So we should have known. We should have known.
And if they thought he was going to AEW, he'd be getting like the Ikemanjiro treatment, like the worst promos ever. Like someone would just be coming out like pantsing him in the middle of the ring. He'd get beaten every week. It's like you want to soften him up before he goes to your rivals.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, when it comes to Gargano, I just don't feel 100% confident that he's leaving. Taking time off, maybe. I don't know that they will treat him like, I don't know, because it's Grayson Waller too, but I feel like he's the greatest takeover NXT performer of all time. You would think there has to be some kind of respect there, right?
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know.
No, and that's the thing. And tonight, but that's enough. Like, you don't think, like, if your job thought you were quitting your job to go work for a competitor to the company you work for, they would have security escort you out and mail you your things in a box. They would be like, get out of here. We're not telling you anything. Take care. Goodbye. Like,
you know what the real power move would have been? Now that you were talking about that, it would have been for Adam Cole to not mention his contract was expired and just show up in AEW when it expired. Oh my God, that would have been BDE big time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that War Games was really good the other night.
Yes, it was.
It's weird that we're 48 hours out from that, but I have emotions about this, and because in wrestling everything can be a work, I have no clue what to expect.
I said that earlier. I said I have a lot of trust issues. It's because I'm a wrestling fan and I don't know how to feel right now.
And look at last night. I didn't bother to watch Raw last night because I knew Liv Morgan wasn't winning. And look, I'm a Liv Morgan day one John Adadio stan from a show in Lakeland, Florida in the fall of 2015.
Yeah, but you're also a big Becky Lynch fan.
I am, but with Liv, I've said, seriously, this is the first time I saw her wrestle. I was like, she has got it. She can go. Like, this is a future champion. And we've been waiting for this, right? I think Becky's just so on fire. And I love Becky, but Becky didn't need to win that match necessarily.
Right. I said a bunch of times too the same thing, that I didn't think Liv was winning. And that's how it went. And it's nothing against Liv Morgan. I keep going back to, if they did all of that for Bianca Belair, the Royal Rumble, the main event of WrestleMania, and they didn't let Bianca beat Becky, nobody's beating Becky anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I based it out of.
And it's weird too, because I think Becky is so made right now that she could lose and it's not going to hurt her. It's not going to hurt WWE. The upside is for Liv. And I think the upside is for the viewers who would once again believe like anything can happen. And we should be invested in every match because we don't know what the outcome is going to be. And we're going to be surprised, you know, and I think that that's almost more important than just protecting, you know, a top star.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so I mean, yeah, it's just like, and I watched on Twitter last night. I watched everybody talk themselves into believing.
I didn't.
Except you. You're skeptical.
No, I'm just apparently a psychic because there was something else went on tonight that I called weeks ago on this show. So
yeah, isn't it weird though? Where sometimes if you want to predict what's going to happen in WWE, like NXT, SmackDown, Raw, whatever, just predict what the most disappointing outcome will be. And you're probably going to be right.
Yes, I found the clip again, and I'm like saying in the clip, I'm like, I'm just gonna say riddle to be random, and then it happened, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even have actually my reason was just because of MSK, you know, but it was just funny that that's the route that they went with.
Man,
so I
and
was
it's like
totally joking when I made that prediction, but you know, haha, jokes on me.
And all I can think of is that like HBK just thinks like marijuana is the funniest thing, and like stoner humor is the funniest thing.
It's not.
Know? It's really not. It hasn't been.
And they don't even when it is, they don't do it the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pardon me. Actually, 20 years. I will say, Dude, Where's My Car made me laugh harder. Like that's one of my top 5 in theater laughter experiences.
Oh my god, I love that movie. I still watch it and laugh. Stupid and
so
the best.
Good.
But that's what I mean. It can be funny if done right, but they're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Especially with this like hangers, every freaking video package that we get is like we're gonna do this for 10 weeks. I'm over it already.
And the weird thing is now we live in this time when marijuana is like legal basically everywhere.
Right.
There's not the stigma about it anymore. And they're still doing this like coded messaging like, haha, aren't we getting away with something? Like being really funny, alluding to this, but not saying what we're alluding to.
Right.
That's the weirdest part, right? I mean, it's very strange.
Well, but is it legal in Florida? That is the question.
That's true.
Yeah.
Medically it is. Isn't medically it's illegal everywhere?
I don't know.
But we got some news. Which Alfred normally does. I know now I'm like, I have to read the news stories.
Yes.
Okay. So here's where I open up Wrestling Inc. For the first time today.
Okay.
And I read the news stories that have been prepared for us. Mark Henry gives a major update on his in-ring future of all the former WWE talent hired by AEW this past year. Mark Henry is near the top of the list as one of the most surprising names. Before signing with AEW, he spoke with Booker T and revealed that he wanted to have one more match in WWE before he retired. And now he is saying that his last match would now happen in AEW. But then he was asked the other day by I-95's Large Dave, that's the name, whether or not he'd get back in the ring. And he laughed and he said, I'm not getting back in there. If somebody hits me, I'm calling the police. So winter is coming. He's going to hit the ring, right?
Probably. Why would Mark Henry call the police? Like, that is like the biggest cop out I ever heard. I'm sorry. I go back to his amazing entrance song. He's not calling the police. He's supposed to punch somebody. Yeah. I don't know if he'll wrestle again. I don't want to see him wrestle again. You know what I mean? I didn't care when Big Show got back in the ring for that weird match with QT Marshall. I feel the same way about Mark Henry.
Yeah, I think Mark Henry is really making a name for himself right now on Rampage, and I think that he's doing an amazing job. But that being said, I mean, it's wrestling. Never say never, right?
And you did say winter is coming, and it is in Texas. So,
I mean, and again, this is the cynical, skeptical, paranoid, conspiracy theorist wrestling fan. Well, if Mark Henry's saying right now he's not going to wrestle again next week, he's going to be wrestling. Throw him off.
We are some cynical people because we like wrestling.
Yeah, but it's a weird relationship.
It is, and I blame all my trust issues on it and my lack of friendships. I'm like, I have no friends. I watch wrestling. Trust no one.
Oh man. So we have backstage news on Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns happening at day 1. And on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that Nick Khan, it's his idea. The idea is for this to become an annual pay-per-view in January because December pay-per-views typically do not do that well. And the idea was this was seen as the biggest match possible. And they didn't think that the Royal Rumble needed it. So they're expected to continue their feud post day 1. And according to this, they're planned for a match at WrestleMania. Now, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed by that news because, I mean, we've really worked ourselves into a shoot here about The Rock coming back for Mania for a match against Roman Reigns. But I don't know. I mean, do you think it's happening?
This is just us, though. This is us fantasy booking. Nobody has said The Rock is coming back. The issue here is that you have built absolutely nobody, so we have to keep rerunning Brock and Roman. How many times have we seen it at a WrestleMania now? This will be the
Yeah.
4th time. They have to add somebody to the equation. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out, or it can't main event.
And I'm not just saying this to say it because of my personal bias, but Sami Zayn and Brock Lesnar have, dare I say, magic. And they are just leaving.
They're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin it, Glenn. They never thought it would go that well. And now if you keep pushing it, they're going to try to like write something for them, and there will go the magic.
I want a segment where they're like tag teaming and then they break up and have a singles feud. But I want them tag teaming, and I want Sami on Brock's farm and Brock's explaining farm life to Sami.
I want to see him trying to teach him how to hunt, and Sami gets scared when he shoots the gun.
Sami trying to milk a cow.
Oh my God.
I mean, just think the hilarity. I mean, it's endless possibility and potential with this.
I love it, but I'm not surprised that they have to make a multi-man match out of Roman and Brock. You have nothing else, and you stripped SmackDown down to nothing. You put all the good talent on Raw. Not that you're doing a lot with them over there either, but there's nobody on. Tell me a name on SmackDown. We cover every Friday that you think could like be built fast enough to be a WrestleMania contender for Roman Reigns that we haven't seen him wrestle.
No,
nobody. Yeah.
No, I mean there's nothing at this point.
Exactly.
Which is really tough. It's really because I don't know what they do.
Because he smashed them all.
Yes, but that's the problem though, because I mean we've talked about this, but I think you're only as good as your competition and your rival, and it's like it's part of the reason why like Superman comics are so boring after a while, is that it's like you've got like two good villains basically, and then in every other thing you're like, well, Superman's going to win this. We know how this is going to end.
Always.
You know, at least Batman, like occasionally like Bane breaks his back or something, or
gets bit by a dog.
Yeah, something weird happens, you know? So I don't know. Joker like murders somebody close to him. I mean,
But the Joker is such a cool villain. We need a cool villain in WWE. I feel like we don't have that. You know what I mean? Or I don't know, because Roman is not even supposed to be the hero. He is actually the cool villain. So we need the superhero, I guess, now that I think about it.
And they tried that a little bit with Cena, but I think that was still kind of half-baked. Like they didn't really run that as like that was too condensed. They could have done more to build that and tell a better story, I thought.
Cena ain't a superhero. He's the villain.
I don't know what they do. I don't know what I mean. It's a tough position they're in right now. And then
you're gonna have to empty like a bank, like a freaking truckload of money to The Rock and do whatever it takes. Like if they had to wrestle at whatever Hollywood set he's filming, that's what they're gonna have to do.
Yeah. And then lastly, Kairi Sane is fueling rumors. She dropped WWE from her social media handle and has billed herself as a former WWE superstar. She returned to Japan in 2020 to be with a new husband, but she kept working for WWE as an ambassador in the country. And she has also done commentary on, in Japanese on WWE pay-per-view events since then, which I think is very cool. And I was not aware of until I read that.
I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
I did not know that. You know, I wish I was better with languages because I would love to listen. And from what I understand, all of the foreign commentary teams have like their own shtick.
Oh, the Spanish guys are excellent.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that she's been doing that. But now she's announced she's launching a 24-hour fitness gym And there's speculation that she's gonna return to the Stardom promotion.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah.
Good for her. She's too talented to not be wrestling.
And I take it NXT Japan ain't happening anymore.
I doubt it.
Wasn't that? I mean, like, I'm so sad for Triple H.
Are you?
Yeah, because I mean, look, okay, I mean, think about this. Like pre AEW, like Triple H, like he built the prototype for what AEW is. This idea that you could have a
Oh
major
yeah,
national
AW wouldn't
promotion.
exist probably without
Yeah,
NXT.
and this idea that there was going to be worldwide expansion, and he was doing stuff that like was completely like Vince trusted him enough that Triple H really got away with whatever he wanted to do for a very long time. And this idea of international expansion and like bringing in independent wrestlers, training homegrown wrestlers, doing different territories. I mean, it's really incredible that he had that vision. It's probably even a bolder vision than what Vince had when he bought the company from his dad. And I think going head to head with AEW in the ratings, just Vince lost all confidence.
Yeah, I'm with you. I remember when he went and got Shinsuke, he got AJ Styles, Finn Balor. Like he was doing so many like just crazy things. I remember the Beast of the East special where they had NXT matches along with the
Yeah.
main roster. We got I right now I want to fall in love with NXT 2.0 and I can't, and reminiscing of the old NXT does not help my
I
case
know it's
because
so
I mean
tough.
I try to be glad that that we had it, but I miss it. I want Triple H to be healthy, and if he's not gonna get to run NXT the way that he wants, maybe we are better off without him there, because I wouldn't want to build something and then have to go back to have somebody else tell me how to run something that I built. It would probably drive me crazy.
Yeah. Main Mania in the chat is saying, do you think Triple H leaves WWE and starts his own promotion with
No,
his rules and vision? No, I mean,
no.
like not unless a lot of things change. Like,
Like they
oh,
fell.
well, yeah, I mean, but a lot of things would have to
He's not
change.
leaving. He's married into this family. Like that would probably be the ultimate betrayal.
Yeah, I mean, and didn't Shane try and do some MMA promotion like 10 years ago? Isn't he
Yeah,
trying
but
to
I
do?
don't feel the same way about Shane as I do if Triple H was to leave. I'm like, I know, I just sounded like the Shane McMahon birthday tweet. But what I'm saying is that he has a degree, he has his own business, his own money, he is the son. Where Triple H had to earn the trust of Vince. You know what I mean? Like this is different. Like
Issa, this is why you need to be watching Succession because it's
I
all the
know.
same stuff.
I
There's
know, I know,
all
I
these
know.
same
I told you,
issues.
I'm gonna get caught up with a couple of the shows you
Yeah,
suggested by the weekend. I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna be like, Glenn, guess what? I did it.
oh, that's awesome. So tonight, speaking of end of an era, we open with Von Wagner beating Kyle O'Reilly in a cage match.
3 nights of cages
Oh
in a
man! So
row.
what did you think of the match? I know you're not the biggest Von Wagner fan.
I'm a more Von Wagner fan than I am Kyle
Wow.
O'Reilly. Even when Kyle O'Reilly comes out and attacks him before Von Wagner enters the cage, he still seems lame to me. I don't know what it is about Kyle O'Reilly. And
Wow.
listen, I have a feeling if he's done, he's gonna be just fine. And I thought he was really cool with Undisputed Era, but I don't like him by himself at all. I thought the match was fun. uh Von Wagner's gear, I don't know if you noticed this, but it looks like it's mesh. Like the workout pants that I wear. Like, when I go to the gym, I wear these pants and they're white and they have like little mesh area because they're cute. That's what that's what his gear looks like. And it drives me crazy trying to figure out if it's mesh or fabric. It is fabric,
Oh.
but I'm just saying he needs to change his gear a little.
I just can't get into Von Wagner. Kyle O'Reilly has never been my favorite, but and that's why this feud has just felt so cold to me. Their tag teaming felt cool, like just all of it, just kind of like, and it's the inevitable because I mean, if you know Kyle's leaving, like this was obvious. At least with the Gargano stuff tonight, we're wondering. I don't think anyone's wondering about Kyle and where he's going.
Yeah, I think Kyle O'Reilly is going to be just fine. The problem is that because I don't know if they knew that his contract was coming up, but it's like Kyle O'Reilly got that Adam Cole rub, right? That's who Adam Cole put over on his way out. So you would think that that would go and make whoever Kyle O'Reilly gives the rub to even bigger, but it didn't feel that way. You know what I mean? And it's because you just turned them 2 nights ago. There was no build up. They were just like, here's a cage
Yeah.
match, and we're never gonna see Kyle O'Reilly again. Possibly that's weird, especially if he shows up next week on AEW. I don't
Yeah.
think this does anything for Von Wagner.
He could show up tomorrow night. This could be the first boom boom, we've seen, right? Because his
Imagine.
contract's
I'm
up.
pretty sure they're like locked in until the 10th. I thought. So it will be
Yeah.
the week after. If I'm WWE, I lock them in through Friday just to at least not have him immediately the next day. You know.
But if the rumors are true and Wyndham shows up at Winter is Coming, this is going to be another thing. Like this is going to be a even worse version of Daniel Bryan stepping on Adam Cole's pop.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. Yeah, if any of them shows up at Winter is Coming and we get with him, they're done.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't like. No offense to fans of the Undisputed Era, but I think Bray Wyatt just had more fans, more legacy, like means more. Whereas Kyle O'Reilly, people are like, yeah, we're kind of expecting that to happen.
Right, because we already know that he's kind of done. Yeah, no, you're right, and that's exactly what kind of happened at All Out. And it
Yeah.
will be kind of even like All Out. Think about it. We had like CM Punk's first match in
Mhm.
7 years, and when the pay-per-view ended, nobody was talking about CM Punk. Why? Because Brian
Mhm.
and Cole showed up. It will be the same way. Everybody would just be talking about former Bray Wyatt. This in AEW now.
Man, and I think about Wyndham versus Darby, Wyndham versus Sting, like Wyndham versus
Malachi
Aleister Black. Yeah,
Black.
Malachi Black.
Yes.
When I think about the ability and to make like actual cinematic style presentation, like they could just do so much more with it. Like I just think, like that's very exciting to me. But Kyle, I mean, great, Undisputed Era is going to be in AEW. Like that's not my dream. 3/4
Oh,
of
they
Undisputed Era.
have. They're only. I have like this conspiracy that they're only doing it just to run Undisputed Era against the Elite, like Young Bucks and Kenny Omega against the formerly known Undisputed Era. It's a money match right there.
I mean, it's a money match for 500,000 people.
Right. No, and that and they'll probably at least Kyle O'Reilly will probably end up on Dark on Elevation after that, but they will do the
Yeah.
match.
So after this, we saw Johnny Gargano's speech that he gave after War Games, and they said he was going to
Right.
address the NXT, his future, later in the evening. Then we had Joe Gacy backstage with Harland, and he said, okay, so he failed
This
to
was
get,
weird.
but I was kind of into this for a second when he said that he was trying to end the cruiserweight division, but now he's working on changing the name of a show that promotes exclusivity, which is 205 Live. I was like, holy shit, if Joe Gacy invades 205 Live and makes that like his mission, I'm kind of into that. Like that could actually be clever and interesting, and they could do more stuff on there. But this was really a promo to set up Harland, who's going to have his first match next week.
Yeah, I was very invested in that. I can't wait to see what he can do in the ring. This guy has been hyped up. Well, it was probably us on social media hyping him up, but he's been hyped up for so long that I just want to see him wrestle. So as soon as they said that, I was excited. I want to see how they do this 205 Live thing. It's personally not for me, but I'm not like against it. I just thought the whole video package was weird until they got to the point that Harlan is debuting next week. I really want to see what he can or can't do. Who knows?
And I got to be honest, there have been some moments on Rampage on Fridays where I'm thinking, like, wait a second, isn't 205 Live like half women's matches now? I feel like I kind of want to watch that instead.
Because they started doing women's matches on 205 Live, I've been wondering if they're really going to change it and how do you go about it. So if they're looking to change 205 Live and they integrate it into a storyline, I will give them more credit that I would think they would do, because I would just think they would just drop it out of thin air and never say anything. So putting it in a storyline is probably a super smart way to go about it.
And it shows that they clearly believe in Gacy and Harland as much as I've criticized the gimmick, as much as people thought Harland's look has kind of not gotten over the way it should have. Like they clearly believe in him.
He definitely looks intimidating. I don't like the outfit. It went from like Michael Myers to I don't know what he's doing. I thought the shaving of the head, you took away the Brock Lesnar comparison. He looks mean and evil, but the outfit is the outfit that's not clicking for me with him.
Yeah, and that matters. And then
it does matter. Presentation is very important.
And then we had Braun Breaker come out, and I'm still not 100% feeling Braun yet.
What
Like,
is it? What is it for you? I feel like there's something there with Braun Breaker and Von Wagner, right? But it doesn't click for me.
yeah, it's like these are two really tough, big, talented guys, period.
Right.
What's his character? Well, he's a very talented athlete, but he's very big and he can go in the ring.
And he picked his name because he wants to break people.
That's worse.
Actually, my favorite part of this entire segment was Melvin coming out and calling him LeBron.
LeBron, yeah. So he was calling out Ciampa for another opportunity at the NXT title, and then he was interrupted by Malcolm Bivens and Diamond
Malcolm
Mine,
Bivens, yeah.
and setting up a match for Roderick Strong versus Braun Breaker next week.
If you had the opportunity to give somebody a mouthpiece, who would you give it to first? Braun Breaker or Von Wagner?
I mean, Braun Breaker, just because Von Wagner, nothing connects with.
Because he was with Kyle O'Reilly. Give him a chance now.
But what's his character? Look, I thought Von Wagner was ZZ from Tough Enough, who got in really good shape for like the first 6 months we saw him on screen. I was like, ooh, ZZ finally put in the work.
There's so many of them that I don't recognize. Like, it takes me a second. Like, the brothers were in the ring today, and I was like, are those the steak guys? I keep calling them the steak guys. And the sad thing is that I tweeted, are those the steak guys? And everybody commented, yes, they knew exactly what I was talking about. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I feel that way about a lot of these new characters in NXT that I'm like, I have no idea who you are. Not even like name wise, like period, as a character.
Yeah, we had Grizzled Young Veterans and Imperium get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this
yeah.
The two brothers took on Brooks and Dunn. Imperium was there. Brooks and Dunn won. Brooks and Dunn just keep winning lately.
Yes. That means something, right?
I mean, so what's going to happen? They're going to have a championship match. Like, is Imperium? I don't see Imperium dropping the titles, not to these guys.
No. I think it's going to be MSK when they finally decide to stop hanging out with Riddle.
I think MSK is good. They're going to have at least one segment where MSK is supposed to have a title match, and they're so stoned they forget about the match.
Yes.
Yeah, and they just lose because they're not there. But yeah, Brooks and Dunn keep winning.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's see. We had Zion Quinn sending a warning to Santos Escobar headed tonight. We had Duke Hudson come out in a really bad wig and get into it with Cameron Grimes.
He looked like the next KFC person. What is it? The Colonel, whatever.
Colonel? Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
And if you can't get enough of Duke Hudson and Cameron Grimes, they're going to have a no-holds-barred match.
That's great. I really just wanted to see the haircut. I'm so disappointed. Like, whatever.
Cameron Grimes is so good and such a good character, and Duke Hudson is not.
At all.
Like, this is what NXT 2.0 needs to do. And I've always made the comparison of NXT and Saturday Night Live. Like, I think it's very similar environments now. They showcase talent. Like, if you launch somebody like Duke Hudson and that shit ain't working, you just need to cut it. You only put on the best stuff you have each week. And if his character and his storylines aren't good enough to get on the air, you work on a new character, work on something else, find a way to make the poker room relevant if they're going to stick with this gimmick. But it's just like continuing with him and Grimes. Like, this has been over in my mind for a while now. And Grimes needs to get better opportunities. Like, this is an albatross around his neck. This is dragging him down.
Yeah, especially after what I thought. Well, it dragged a little bit with the $1 million title thing, but he ended up getting, retribution. He got the title back to the $1 million man, and then that's it. It's just like he went on a weird. We're not gonna do anything with him now. You know what I mean? And it's just like you would think that story would have elevated him enough to just move on to something else. I also would love to know how bad does Duke Hudson look that they sent him out there in a wig, and is his new gimmick a wig thing? What if he wears a different wig every week? I could get behind that.
Yeah, that could be kind of fabulous if it's the
Yes,
right wig.
if it's the right wig. Tonight's was not a good wig, but I mean, he had what, 2 days? Not
Tonight,
even
like,
Prime can get you a wig to your house that fast.
well, not a good one.
Exactly.
It looked his wig tonight looks like a blonde version of the Enzo wig from Survivor Series.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was a really bad wig. So then we had Carmelo Hayes against Dexter Loomis.
Yay, Dexter is back. Well, he was back on Sunday, but this was a good match.
Yeah, Loomis won by DQ, but I think this is going to keep going, and I could see Loomis challenging for that North American title sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be upset. I think Loomis is great, and I thought they had really good chemistry. I've really been liking Trek also
Yeah,
with.
Trick is amazing.
He's so good. Like I really have been enjoying the two of them paired up together, and they're great. And I enjoyed this match, and they gave him some time too,
Yeah.
which
No,
is
this
great
was,
because these are good names too.
but this is the thing, and again, I said this on Twitter. It's like, why wasn't Dexter coming out when Gargano was getting attacked? Why wasn't Ciampa coming
Or
out?
Champa or anybody
Anybody.
like and I don't know. The whole thing was weird. We'll get to the main event segment, but I thought the same thing. I'm like, why was Dexter not defending Gargano at the end? It drove me crazy that nobody came out, which is what makes me think this is a work.
Yeah. Oh man, they could have worked it even better. They should have had Candace out there. They should have had Johnny like touching her belly, talking about I can't wait to be a dad. Like they could have really laid this on thicker, which makes me think that because they didn't do that, which makes me think he's not staying. See, there's arguments for and against.
Right. Now imagine that you are like an old person and you're talking to like a new teenager, and then because Daniel Bryan ended up like coming back, you show them his retirement speech and tell them it was at work. You know how much that would mess with them because he wasn't, but because he came back, you could be like, this whole thing was at work. He came back a couple of weeks later. I'm gonna start doing that.
I mean, it's all work.
It's
It's
all
just
at work. That's what I'm saying. Because you're talking about that, and you're just like, if he had Candace out there with the belly and all that, it took me back to like when Brie came out when Daniel Bryan had to retire. you know?
like here's my thing. If you're going to be manipulative, if you're going to be passive aggressive, if you're going to string people along and tell an elaborate fiction, lay it on thick. At least it's more entertaining. You know?
I still don't. I just don't know how to feel about that main event segment. I still don't know if it got worked, if he's just taking time off, if he really is gone. I don't know.
I if you're going to lie to me, I want an elaborate lie. I have a friend, may he rest in peace, Brendan, who I've talked about on this podcast many a time, and he was a complete sociopath. But oh my God, was he entertaining? And it was never like, oh, Brendan, you're 2 hours late. We were supposed to go to this thing. Now we missed the concert. We're going to do it. It was never like, oh, sorry, I got caught up in errands. It's just things happen. He would be like, I was 2 blocks away. And did you hear the sirens? Because I was at the convenience store. I was getting gas. And then there was a robbery. And the police would not let me leave the area. I said, I want to go back in my car and get my phone. They would not let me get my phone. And I had to take my statement. I saw the robber. And he looked kind of like Tom Selleck. And it was very interesting because, in Magnum, he was a good guy. But I was like, why is Tom Selleck robbing the store? No, it turned out it was not Tom Selleck. But they brought the sketch artist out there. And I said, and then he made the sketch look too much like Tom Selleck. Hawaiian shirt, Tiger's hat. That we had to redo it all over again. And I'm really, really sorry. This won't happen again. I'll make it up to you next week.
Yeah. But the thing with an elaborate lie is that then you can keep up with it.
Yeah, and he got like there were some times, but here's the thing: you can't be mad if somebody's
No,
entertaining
oh
you.
no,
You
1,000%.
can't be mad
1,000%.
because they're putting in effort, and that's what I really respect.
You know what the sad thing is though,
Huh.
that this happens here in New York a lot, especially with like mass transit and all that. And every time one of us is late, it feels like we're making an elaborate lie like that,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's actually the reality of our commute every day.
Yeah.
Where you go like, well, the train got stopped because somebody got sick, and then this happened, and then this happened, and the sad thing is nobody questions it because it really is our daily life.
Yeah, that's a good thing about your metro area is
Yeah.
traffic can buy you quite some time. Oh, there we go. Seller Justin Lopez 499 saying photos online, Glenn, after they went off the air, HBK, Ciampa, and Candace came out and Gargano got emotional. So maybe tonight was real.
Nothing was real about tonight. The only thing that was real was a backstage interview with Tony D'Angelo. The rest didn't matter.
Yes. Well, So we did get the Shaman. MSK finally got their Shaman. Is Matt Riddle, who said he's gonna like be there with them.
I'm waiting for the magic words. You were right.
Oh yes, he said you were right.
Thank you. I'm clipping that.
When Riddle says he's going to be there with them, do you think it's gonna be? I'm gonna be there with you in spirit, bro. Like,
I mean, doesn't he live nearby? Don't
no,
like
that's true.
half of them kind of live there and they hang out at NXT anyways just because? You might as well use them. They're all just hanging out like, hey, what's up?
Speaking of living in the performance center, who's this female performer? The female superstar that we've seen in the background sleeping.
Oh,
Is that the former Mei Ying?
yes.
Yes.
She has a new name and her gimmick is taking naps. And I gotta tell you, it's the perfect gimmick for WWE. Because don't we all take a nap when we watch their programming?
Like, okay, and again, I like the big swings that WWE is taking. Maybe she's narcoleptic. Maybe she'll be having a match and then just fall asleep in the middle of the match.
I like my sense of humor better, where it's just like she just can't even stay awake through their own show.
I've taken micro naps before during wrestling.
Me too. The other day I took one and like I didn't even mean to fall asleep, but I thought I slept forever and I opened my eyes and the same match was on. I was like, wait, how long did I sleep for? Because I woke up feeling like I missed the whole show. And then I'm like, wait, I didn't really sleep for that long.
Oh, see, and Trevor Snook has the good gimmick, and then she wakes up and kicks out at 2.9 seconds.
Okay, I can get behind.
That is solid. I'm telling you, we should be running NXT, not just us, but the Wrestling Inc. chat room. I think we've got the creative minds to really make this show sing.
I'm here for the pajamas though. Like I'm a big pajamas person. I need to see like I saw she was wearing. I think she was wearing a onesie tonight. So next week it'll be nice if she does like a 2-piece satin, maybe Christmas theme. You know?
Yeah, why not? Who doesn't? And think of the merchandising opportunities.
We don't talk about that because we still don't have any Tony D'Angelo merch.
I know. What is up with that?
They don't want our money, Glenn.
I guess not. It's been a while since I've ordered wrestling merch.
Same.
Tony D'Angelo, I will buy something if they come out with it. So Mandy Rose told Vic to shut up. And by the way, it was at this point when I realized I was like, oh man, I miss Beth on commentary.
Oh, I realized that within the first 5 minutes. I think I tweeted it at like 8:04. I was like, wow, I really miss Beth. Yeah.
But out there with Toxic Attraction cutting a promo, saw Persia Prada and Indy Hartwell backstage, and they're trying to get it together to really go for it. But we saw Gigi Dolan and JC Jane of Toxic Attraction beat Valentina Feroz and Elisa Leon tonight. Pretty squashy match.
Really been liking them as a tag team. I think Toxic Attraction, all three of them. I think Mandy has improved tremendously, but I think their tag team work is very, very good, and we don't see them wrestle in tag matches often enough.
Now, do you think I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So, do you think kayfabe Mandy is just so upset because things didn't work out with her and Otis?
Yes.
She's just trying to get over him.
She can't. When you get your heart broken like that, that's what you turn into, a dark-haired champion.
It is sort of like I'm divorced. I'm going to get an aggressive new haircut, like take control of my life sort of move.
Getting her groove back in NXT.
Yeah, a little bit,
Yeah. No, but I really like her, and I hope that she eventually is able to move on from her amazing love story with Otis.
Like, it was a silly story at first, but that was probably one of the better storylines of recent years in WWE.
Yeah. Yeah, and it got over so good with the crowd.
Yeah. But now, that was the old Mandy. The new Mandy tonight is just angry. Just has an ego. Cora Jade came out and reminded her that she beat her 2 weeks ago, beat her at War Games. Raquel Gonzalez came out with a steel chair. So, I mean, they're keeping buzz. After Cora Jade, I kind of want to see Cora Jade go for it. I don't know if she has the gravitas yet. She's not as experienced in the ring, but I think she is just a fast rising superstar in NXT.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they're really making sure you know who she is, remember her name, and they're giving her the spotlight. And I'm appreciating. I'm becoming more and more of a fan.
Yeah. This will be good. This will be a really good feud. I'm looking forward to how they could keep this going. And I liked what they had backstage with Raquel and Cora about like whose turn it is next. So I don't know. I mean, I think the women's division has still been booked very, very well. And then speaking of which, a new vignette for Tiffany Stratton, showcasing her athletic ability more than her monetary gifts.
Good. She's a gymnast now, right? And she was she was gonna go to the Olympics, but she's not a team player.
Yeah, it's interesting too because with Tony D'Angelo, he was like a collegiate wrestler, and like they made no mention of that background. It's just all character,
right?
But it's interesting with her that they're talking about being in Team USA,
but she did say, which I thought was interesting in this vignette. She said, "What's better than a gold medal is the NXT Women's Champion." So she's like championship. So she's not even here yet, and she's already shooting for the top. So very curious about what she can do and how she's gonna fit into the storylines.
And I'm telling you because her promo was backstage with Tony D'Angelo. I'm saying this storyline writes itself.
Yes.
The Tony D'Angelo promo tonight talking about Pete Dunne.
Petey Poppins, like.
Yes, and but before we get Pete Dunne and Tony D'Angelo in a feud, it looks like we're gonna get Chase U.
Why? Who asked for this?
No one. I mean, Tony's gonna win easily.
Of course, Tony's gonna win. Also, major respect for Tony putting on the mouthpiece in a glass box.
Oh yes.
I would love for him to start taking souvenirs from all of his freaking opponents and like displaying them in a room. Because isn't that like what you would expect somebody from the mob do? So I appreciated that. Anyways, I didn't ask for this Chase U, but whatever gets Tony D'Angelo more matches and more wins, that's fine. I just wish it was somebody else.
Yeah. He's he was just one of the most entertaining things to watch. And I like that they give him time on the mic just to speak naturally, but this seemed almost toned down. He wasn't giving anyone money, saying buy yourself a little something. No one was in a trunk. Like with Tony, Tony should always be at an 8. And I feel like they've given us Tony at a 5 a little bit more.
I agree with you, but he just made it through War Games. He's probably exhausted. He probably partied afterwards, has some sanitation business to take care of. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see how he does next week. Now he's going to have a couple of days off to recover, eat some deep dish pizza. He's going to be fine next week. You'll see. He'll be at a 10.
We shall see. Santos Escobar versus Zion Quinn tonight.
50-50 booking at its finest. It begins. Santos Escobar wins, which he needed the win, but I guarantee you they will fight again, and then Zion Quinn will win.
They need to give Elektra Lopez more to do. She gave him the brass knuckles tonight. That was cool.
Yes.
But I just feel like she upstages this entire group.
Yes, I agree. I thought that Zion Quinn was going to win and she was just going to take off with him and abandon Legado del Fantasma.
The tension between them.
I know. That's why I think that would have been a better booking decision and then let Legado go back to her not outstaging them,
Yeah. And we had Boa addressing Idris Enofe. So that's going to keep building that feud.
Wait, did we talk about the State guys?
Oh, which thing?
The State guys and the Creed brothers.
Oh, did we?
I don't know, but
Brooks and Dunn.
State
Brooks
guys
and Dunn.
were there with the Creed brothers.
The State guys. I call them Brooks and Dunn. You call them the State guys. We don't know what their actual names are, but
did they win? Who won that match?
I believe. Did they win? No, or did the Steak brothers win? Steak brothers. Brooks and Dunn won.
Okay. Oh, wow. So the Creed brothers are losing again. Okay. Yeah. I missed the ending. I went to get a water bottle, come back, and it was over. So that's all I needed to know if the State guys won or not.
I'm with you.
Okay.
And then Johnny Gargano coming out saying we can go over. Chucky's not on tonight. We're going to just talk.
That's not how it works, buddy.
I mean,
yeah, he came out. He started talking at 10 p.m. Of course, you had to run over. You guys couldn't manage to fit this in your time frame, so
it made it feel real. I mean, I really liked this, and I liked how he talked about his career. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, so I understand based on the photos, like maybe this was actually it. Yeah, maybe he is legitimately taking some time off. He definitely, if this is it, he definitely has NXT thinking he's legitimately taking some time off.
He said
Like,
I may do some things here and there. What does that mean?
but he said in February he's going to be a dad, and that was like, and that kind of makes sense. Like, this would be not the best time. And AEW is touring. AEW is like on the road. This is probably not the best time for Gargano to be away.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, so like this was a very emotional speech. I'm talking about his history in WWE, in NXT specifically. It was very good. And then like the audience kind of ruined this because I don't know if Grayson was out there just twirling his mustache and like taking his
they
time.
started screaming halfway through before we could see Grayson. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I if this was, I don't know, I guess everybody has to like, they have to work something in. I see the pictures. I was just looking at them and it's like I would have rather seen, if it's a real thing, I would have rather seen Candace out there. I would have rather seen Champa come out and let us just have that moment. But I guess like you said earlier, we really don't know what he's gonna do, if he's gonna show up somewhere else or whatever. But I just, I don't know. There's a certain level of appreciation for Gargano that if this is real and we don't know what's going to happen, I wish they would have given him just a real moment. I feel like the real moments are more valuable than trying to work a storyline into everything, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think as a storyline, they could have done more to make it more over the top, like we talked about. Like this felt like if it was an impromptu, heartfelt goodbye, it did feel that way, right? But to have Grayson Waller attack and be like, this is my house and yada yada, and then just go off the air, it just kind of felt like, and again, this is not about Johnny Gargano. It's not about Johnny Gargano in his time in NXT, but this felt like a half-assed way to build Grayson Waller with Johnny leaving.
Which is tragic because I thought he looked great at War Games.
Yeah.
But this wasn't it. Like, you need to just have him, let him wrestle and show what he can do in the ring like you did on Sunday. That really got a lot of these 2.0 guys over, and girls. It was just letting them wrestle and show what they can do. I just, he probably, he's just not the person that I would have given that to. Also, I wanted to say on the segment backstage when Grayson Waller teases that he's going to do something later on because LA Knight steals his girl. LA Knight did not open the door for that lady. And it's somebody that is from the OG team. He should have opened the door for her, the car door. He didn't open it, and I was very disappointed. Total douche move.
And why didn't they get some heel heat on Ciampa by having him out there with Candice and saying, oh, by the way, the baby's mine?
Wow. And then we do Ciampa and Gargano again. And
no, and then Gargano's
happy.
Just gone. Well, yes, that was the one. Like, if I'm looking in retrospect, when they did the Gargano Ciampa breakup, that was the one lever they didn't pull when Candice came out. And that would have been like nuclear. Like, that would have been the hottest thing in wrestling in years.
And then when the baby comes out, somebody photoshops it with like a Ciampa beer. Be like, see, I told you it was my baby. My God.
But instead we get Grayson Waller just like blah blah blah. Like,
it was so lame. I'm sorry, it was lame.
It was lame. Like, it wasn't even good. It wasn't interesting. I mean, it's like, but Grayson Waller, like, he's kind of like a lean, very lean athlete. Like, he doesn't look physically imposing.
It's the face.
It is the face. He's too much of a pretty boy.
Right, because when he was standing like face to face with LA Knight, he looked bigger than him, but the face is just like, okay.
Yeah. Man, so love Gargano. If this is it, I'm glad they gave him the time to talk, but I don't think Grayson Waller has nuclear heat next week where it's like, oh, boo, I can't believe you did this.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting some chance, but...
Yeah, but that's the
I know some people were chanting, like people were tweeting about it, but I was like, I don't think this is gonna do anything for him. I thought it was lame, and if I was in the arena, yeah, I would have probably booed him, but just because he ruined the moment, not because that was like so crazy.
The moment I knew Baron Corbin was a superstar was when I was at TakeOver in 2016. Not TakeOver. When I was at Access in 2016, they were taping all those NXT episodes.
Yep.
And Austin Aries came and shot a promo, and Baron Corbin attacked him. And someone in the crowd yelled, "You took away his moment!" Like, Like, and that's where I was like, Baron Corbin is awesome.
Yeah.
Because this isn't just booze. Like, people like have very specific, heated, like, just anger towards him.
Right.
You know? And like with Grayson, this was just like, you suck, like whatever. Like that's not real. That's not like like people despise Baron Corbin on many levels. And
Like
that is the
MJF.
beauty. Yeah.
Like MJF. I remember when MJF was getting water bottles thrown at him and all that. Like people really, really do not like him. And
Well, the bottles weren't filled with water. That's how you knew they really didn't like him.
Yes.
It's like the heel equivalent of winning an Oscar.
Yeah.
Very wet, disgusting Oscar.
That's a weird way to say you're good at your job, right?
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, it's like, it was Grace. Like, this wasn't personal. This wasn't interesting. This was.
Yeah, I felt this entire, and we talked about that last week too. This was an episode of NXT that if you missed it, did you really miss anything? The Gargano moment,
nice.
but it's like they didn't. I think you're better off watching whatever happened afterwards on Twitter.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with NXT lately. It feels like the episodes are not must-watch television. And people tuned in tonight, and the best thing they did was keep Gargano to the end because you have to keep people watching, you know. But NXT has done this too. Like, remember when William Regal was gonna quit, and then Samoa Joe came back? Like, I guess we'll see what happens. It might be real. Maybe I'm in denial, but there's nothing about tonight that would have made it must watch outside of that Gargano thing, and that's something that you can go and watch the highlights of.
Yeah. So there you go. That was NXT. Just watch the highlights.
No, just watch us.
Yeah, it's true. We're going to tell you everything you need to know. So tomorrow, AEW coverage. Friday, SmackDown and Rampage coverage with me, and I don't know who else.
Not me, because I'm going to be seeing Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico.
Awesome.
Sorry, I had to keep flexing about it. It's exciting.
I understand. You can follow said NYC Demon Diva. That's Diva with a 1. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. And have a good week, everybody. We'll catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.